Welcome back to another week here on Instigating with Clarkie and Drury, brought to you by our friends at CoolBet Canada over at the Listowel Squash Courts and, of course, Listowel Vision Care and See the Game. Ryan Drury here. That is Clarkie, all dolled up. We're filming this on St. Paddy's Day, and I know, hey, it would have been a good time for me to have my Oakland A's stuff on, right? But I just can't do that.
Yeah, what happened this week? There was not a lot going on in the world of sports this week, was there?
No, nothing to talk about in the world of sports, but I have
Who are you talking to second segment? Well, let's plug that.
Yes, I want everybody to stick around, our listeners and our viewers here on Whiteman and on all the great podcast networks. Coming up in this show, I am chatting with the authors of a great book, Loving Sports When They Don't Love You Back, Kavitha Davidson, who is a longtime sports journalist and worked at The Athletic for a long time, including the Lead podcast, and Jessica Luther, who co-authored the book with her. They will be on the show with me.
And what a great segue to talk about your Oakland A's.
I know.
Right?
And there's a great chapter in the book that basically encapsulates what it's like to be a supporter of the Oakland A's. But yeah, let's talk about it. Obviously, the big news in Jays land, of course, is that Matt Chapman, who is my guy, he's my guy, the first baseball player I really fell in love with as a fan. I've watched baseball for a long time. I loved Roy Halladay. He was great, and all those great Jays, Bautista and everything. You know, I always paid attention to baseball. I was never a big fan. Yep. Matt Chapman was my guy, and he is now a Blue Jay.
Now, can I ask this question before you go on?
Yes.
Was Matt Chapman your guy, and that's why you became an Oakland A fan, or were you an Oakland A fan and you liked Matt Chapman?
It was kind of a combo of the two. Like Matt Chapman was,
because you're donning the Blue Jay hat today, and I was just curious if you've come over to the better side here.
Oh well, yeah, I have. I'm absolutely a Jays fan. Also, I can support both teams. It would be weird if they were in the same division, but like I'm not going to cheer for the Yankees or something.
So head to head, who will you cheer for?
The Jays, because the Jays, you know what?
Cheer for the same team. It's amazing.
It is amazing, and a friend of mine. Who's actually a buddy of my brother's. When I first got into baseball as a fan, I was like, I kind of like Oakland. I like Oakland just because they're a weird story. They're the organization, the people in it are easy to cheer for because they're up against it. Their ownership, very easy to not like. But I explained that to him, and he's like, can you just cheer for one Canadian team in your life? And I thought, yeah, you know what? I guess so. I'll cheer for the Jays. And, well, it's not a bad thing, is it? But I can still support both. I will maintain that if Oakland leaves Oakland, I will no longer support them because the fans there have already been beat up enough. Let's dig into it. Matt Chapman, he was the first ball player I really, really fell in love with, and for good reason. He is, I don't know if Jays fans en masse, Clarkie, you included, fully understand just what they've acquired here.
Yeah, I have. You know what? No, I don't know how much of a good player this is. You got to tell me.
It's funny because you'll remember for about a year now, I've been calling Matt Chapman to the Jays. And our friend Rob Longley, who you can bet in the next few weeks will be back on this show. By the way, next week I want to tease Ben Wagner, the radio voice of the Blue Jays. He will be on this show. Rob Longley texted me last night at the arena and said, you called it. You called it. And I said, yes, I did. So yeah, Matt Chapman, let me just tell you a little bit about this guy. He finished in the top 10 in AL MVP voting in 2019. And then the last two seasons, the shortened COVID 2020 season and last year were some injury issues with him. Now, coming off the 2020 shortened season, he had hip surgery and was really struggling last year to find himself. Despite that, he still hit 27 home runs. And this guy, and I can say this with full confidence, I'm telling you right now, what have we been talking about for years now with the Jays, Clarkie? They don't play defense that well. They can bomb it with the best of them. They can't defend.
Yep.
Listen to me when I say this. The Toronto Blue Jays just acquired the best defensive player in the major leagues. The best. Not the second best, not the 10th best, not one of the best. The best. He is third over the last 3 seasons in defensive runs saved, and he'd be first if not for injuries. And in 2019, his last healthy season, he led the league in defensive runs saved by 12. 12. This guy, they're going to start calling him the Wall the Rogers Center. He is the Wall. Balls go over to Matt Chapman to die. Infield hits go over to Matt Chapman to die.
Yeah.
This guy is going to be one of the most beloved Blue Jays ever. Let me tell you that right now. It's incredibly exciting, Clarky.
It is exciting for sure. And, like all week long, we've been texting back and forth about maybe Freddie Freeman coming to the Blue Jays. But if he comes, he plays first base. Guess what? That means Vlad goes back to third. Certainly a lot better infield right now with the way they're set up with Chapman at third. No question about it. And Freeman now signs with the Dodgers. So that's fine. I liked Freeman as a person. He's got Canadian blood in him. And he seems like a real down to earth guy, but for the ball club and for winning, they are definitely. Someone said the other day, this team's going to win 100 games this year. And if they win 100 games this year, that'll be the most wins they've ever had in their franchise. They've only had 99. So they've never had a 100-win season. So we'll see how it plays out, but you know what? They got to be right up there right now to be a favorite for sure.
This is the best chance they've ever had at hitting the century mark. And I know that, I was literally an infant when they won the back-to-back World Series. And so this may irk some people, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is the most talented Blue Jays team
Well, then they
time.
better win because they were pretty talented last year, and they're probably the most talented Blue Jay team to not make the playoffs. So who the pressure's on now, Mr. Charlie Montoyo. He has got to make this happen. And we talked last year, was he going to make it back this year? Well, he's back, and he's got a lot of pressure on him right now to succeed and to succeed early.
He does, and there's absolutely merit to that. What I will say somewhat in defense of Charlie, and what was the big criticism of him last year? I'll tell you what it was, that he wasn't fiery enough, that he didn't get angry enough at umpires, that he didn't lose his cool and stand up for his guys. I understand that, but that's not his style, right? No. I will say that they still won 91 games with a abhorrent bullpen until they added guys like Adam Simber and Tim Meza turned his season around at the end of the year. And let's keep in mind, George Springer played, what did he play? 70 games last year?
Yeah, he missed a lot for sure.
I actually think it's 58. He might have only played 58 games.
Yeah.
So you've got your Titan big free agent signing playing less than half the season.
Yeah. And with Chapman in the infield, that should instantly help pitchers' ERAs and everything else because, as you said, he's a run stopper, and to have that guy on the corner, that is going to be huge for sure. But yeah, Charlie. The other thing I didn't like about Charlie was he was too by the book. The computer's telling me I got to take this pitcher out. I know that's sort of the new way of managing and coaching and analytics and blah blah blah. I'm what do they call it? What do they call it on Overdrive?
The eye test. Your team eye test.
I'm team eye test. You have to have a feel. You have to have a feel for the game. Yeah. And there would be nothing I'd love better than to see some pitchers get extended and maybe even pitch a complete game. Wow, that would be amazing. But let's see how it plays out. A lot of pressure on Charlie. This team is good. And, Springer, I think, played 78 games last year. So he missed a lot of games for sure.
He did. Yeah, it might have been 78, not 58. One of those two. He didn't play a lot of games. And having a healthy Springer to lead off the incredibly deep lineup and hit Springer dingers to lead games off is going to be a big help.
It's an exciting team, man. It's an exciting team. What are they going to do at second? There's rumors in the works too. Maybe a second baseman's coming too.
Now, so it has to be said, we're recording this on St. Patrick's Day, so nothing has happened. But by the time this airs, it's possible the Jays do something else. They are still
something happened last week, right? What happened last week? Something happened as soon as we got off the air, but there was some news. I remember we prefaced it.
They signed Yusei Kikuchi.
No, there was something else we were talking about last week that was bigger news, and it happened right after we got off the air. But it doesn't matter.
And it's worth noting, too, that this rotation's really exciting as well. I mean, Kevin Gausman, I know a lot of people were salty, and hey, we said it on the show. I know I hammered it in particular. I said they have to keep one of Semien or Ray. And I was advocating for keeping Ray. This guy just won a Cy Young. However, the Jays were not willing to go that extra year in Seattle, and give Seattle credit. Boy, Seattle's going to be tough. They have loaded up, which makes me even angrier as an A's fan that Seattle's spending money.
And you know what it was last week, or we wouldn't be talking about this. They solved the CBA. That's what happened.
Yeah, the lockout ended.
Yeah,
the lockout ended.
Thankfully, the lockout ended. So
and it hasn't done what they said it would and make things more competitive and stop tanking. I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, I feel like people are sleeping a little bit because some are still upset that a Cy Young winner left. I feel like people are sleeping on Kevin Gausman. This guy had a pitch. That splitter he throws had the second highest whiff rate of any pitch thrown last year in the MLB. The only one that was better than him, Shohei Ohtani's splitter. And that guy won the MVP. Now he did a large part of that, of course, with what he did at the plate as well. But Kevin Gausman, this guy's a dog. He's going to eat up hitters. And Yusei Kikuchi has shown that he can get guys out with good breaking stuff. And look what he walks into. One of the best. Let me tell you what. Pete Walker is writing himself an unbelievable legacy. This guy's got to get into the Hall of Fame someday for what he's doing as a pitching coach. Look at all the guys he's worked with and the guys' games he's transformed. I'm excited to see what he can do with Yusei Kikuchi and rebuilding Hyunjin Ryu off of a pretty disappointing 2021. Then you add Manoah into the mix, and of course, the big cat, Jose Barrios, who I believe will get opening day starter duties. It'll be him or Gausman. Boy, oh boy, this Jays rotation, I think it might be the most talented rotation they've ever had. It's exciting times to be a Jays fan, and Clarky, I'm going to call it now. They're going to do record gate numbers. They're going to shatter attendance records this year.
That's tough. That's going to be tough to do.
It will be tough to do, but the reason I think so is assuming everything stays open and everything.
Yeah,
2 years of not being able to watch this team, and the team.
Dude, this team sold out every game in 91, 92. Like,
it'll be tough. It'll be a tough mark to hit.
I don't think they will.
I think they're going to do record gate.
I don't. Now they might make revenue, yes, but not numbers.
I think they'll do both. Well, we'll get a little side bet.
Adam, producer, write this one down. We'll revisit it in October.
We'll revisit it in October. We'll put a 12-pack on it or something.
Sure. Well, we could probably revisit it in May if they're doing well in May.
Yeah, you might want to renege on the bet.
If they have 45,000 opening day and 10,000 the second game, then we know it's not going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm confident. All right. Let's talk a little bit about hockey now, because the Jays, very exciting. I do want to just say quickly that, and I mentioned I wanted to say this, I just gutted for people in Oakland and Cincinnati right now, the fans of those two fan bases. This is embarrassing. Like, I'm so excited. And what did I say to you, Clarky? The one place I'd be okay with Matt Chapman getting traded was Toronto.
Well, there you go.
And I got my wish. And my boy Matt Olson, the Oli bomb, he gets to go home to Atlanta and replace Freddie Freeman and signs a great deal for Matt Olson, 8 years, $168 million. But that being said, and I'm excited as a Jays fan, Major League Baseball should be embarrassed that Matt Chapman and Matt Olson are not wearing Kelly green. It is embarrassing to me that an owner like John Fisher, who's worth almost $3 billion, is not investing in this team. What he's going to do is wait until this maybe new stadium gets built, and he's going to cash in and sell them. It's embarrassing. A rumor has it, I read that he bought the Athletics because, well, he had the money, and two, his mom is an A's fan. How does Mama Fisher feel about this? Your son's destroying the team, Mama Fisher. Do something. They should force this man to sell. They should force the Reds to sell their team. It's embarrassing the talent that they had collected there. And people texting me, oh, Ryan, you got to be so excited with all these prospects that they got. And they got for 5 years until they're all due money. And then they'll be gone too. I love Christian Pache. Yeah, that's fun. He's going to be gone. You want me to buy a jersey? And you want to talk about dirty tactics. On top of all this, and by the way, Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea are going to get traded too. In the midst of all this, the Oakland Athletics sent out, you know how when you order season tickets and you renew them, typically the franchise sends you like a little gift when you renew it. Yeah. This year's gift, a Matt Olson jersey. Not even an authentic jersey, a pressed one. Not even stitched. He's gone.
It sounds like the marketing team wasn't on board with the general managing team, that's for sure.
And they doubled the price of season tickets. Doubled.
Embarrassing.
Even if they get a new ballpark, it's just a shiny new toilet, isn't it? Because when even if you have the shiniest toilet, it's still full of crap, isn't it, John Fisher? Sell this team. It's embarrassing. Anyway, let's
You're the
move
only
on.
one that cares, so let's just move on.
I'm the only one that cares.
And sorry about if you're watching on YouTube there, Whiteman. It is a beautiful sunny day here.
Solar flare.
Listowel. And did you notice I can do it there?
Yeah.
So I have to. It's like, baseball's coming back. It's got to be 20 degrees outside today. It's a beautiful day. I have a cold. It's not COVID. I've tested 4 times this week. I have a little spring cold going. But what a beautiful day. You know what the worst part about today, though, and the warmer weather is?
What's that?
Cleaning the backyard from the winter of dog poop. I was out there for about 45 minutes and it's still not done.
Sandy's been doing
I think
damage,
I might. Well, now, but I have 2 dogs now too. So,
that's true. Yeah.
So it's double the duty, as they say, double duty. It wasn't fun. I think I should just pay someone to come over and clean it, but
I'm busy. Anyway, let's talk. Speaking
of dog crap, let's talk about the Leafs.
No, that can't. Come on, that can't be the transition. No.
I'm kidding.
Hey, you're a fan of the team.
Been a tough. Okay, here's the deal. It's been a tough couple weeks, but
couple weeks.
Well, okay, hold on. Wait. Okay, what have you done? What have you done for me lately? So the goaltending has been awful. Peter Mrazek, I don't think he can stop a puck. Like he is struggling big time stopping a puck. I don't know why he started against the Sabres in the outdoor game. I don't care if it's an outdoor game. I don't care if there's a lot of people watching. You got to go with your better goalie. They go then in the next game, put the kid in net, Shelgren, shutout. Is this guy the savior? No, probably not. Now, other teams have caught fire with a goaltender and around this time of year and have made very good runs. This isn't a kid either. He's 25, 26 years old. He's not a kid. He won the Swedish league last year, so he's a winner. I think when Campbell comes back, it's him and Campbell, because I think Mrazek is, like, if the Leafs don't trade him, if they can get rid of him somehow, I think he's the third goalie. I think he's the Michael Hutchison going down the stretch where we don't want to use this guy. But then I look and I think of all the struggles they've had, and I look at the standings, and they're in 5th place in the National Hockey League. Like, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. But they need to fix some things. Now, I guess Sherratt's gone to Florida, so that helps them. And then Giordano's now rumored to come to Toronto, and they say that's his number one choice, is to come home and play at home. So we'll see what happens with the Leafs and the defense. And Monday, Ryan, we should probably do a special show Monday after the deadline.
We can do a bonus episode reaction show. Certainly, we could do that, and we'll just throw it up on YouTube. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine.
Hopefully,
with
my throat's better there. I thought I was going to lose my voice there. So
yes, you'll recover. Let me tell you, it's been depressing since January. We know the stats. We talked about this last week with our friend Julia Teixeira. They're
still in 5th place.
Here's the thing I'll say to you though. And I know you don't like when I do this. That's exactly what I used to say all the time with the Caps. You can outscore your problems on a Tuesday night against Arizona. In the regular season. The Caps won the President's Trophy 3 times.
Right. And what good was it? Right. So,
because they won every game 7-6, Clark.
Does first place matter?
First place doesn't matter. And it also doesn't matter that, you have to keep the optimism alive. Sure, you're still in 5th place, but the way you're winning games.
No. All I'm saying is it's not as bad as it used to be. Like, it used to be bad, right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Going to the playoffs.
Going to the playoffs. They're still a good team. Anything can happen.
Yes.
They need a goalie to catch fire. I don't think they're going to make a trade for goalie. I don't think Marc-Andre Fleury's in their
Well, Thear and Fleury's not coming either.
That's right. I switched it to Marc-Andre. Don't worry. But like, I don't see them making a deal for goalie. I really don't. We'll see. We could get off the air and find out that they made a deal, but I just don't see it happening.
It's hard, right? Like it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Ask the Edmonton Oilers how hard it is.
Well,
right?
because for them, right, a Fleury trade, first of all, Toronto's on his no trade list. So you'd have to get over that hurdle.
Yeah.
Secondly, in order for the Leafs to be able to acquire him, you would need to get a third team involved.
Correct.
To retain another chunk of his salary. And why would any team want to try and help Toronto out and do them a favor by doing that?
For a draft pick, that's why. They don't care if it's Toronto or not. But it's going to be for a draft pick.
But for a draft pick, right? Toronto has traded like every draft pick they've had over the last 4 years of significance. And let's keep in mind that in the latter stages of drafts, they don't draft very well. They've traded away picks that have turned into good NHLers for other teams. See case Travis Konechny. And their number one prospect in their system, and this is obviously something beyond your control, and is very unfortunate, Rodion Amirov has a brain tumor and might never play hockey again.
Yeah.
So do you want to try and A, get a guy to come to Toronto that doesn't even want to come there now?
No, I don't.
B, throw out a ton of prospects when you're going to need to reload
That's
after.
what I'm saying. I don't see it. That's what I'm saying. I don't see it.
And that's why I'm agreeing with you. Because beyond Fleury, what are you getting that's potentially better than what you have?
Fleury?
Beyond Marc-Andre Fleury.
Theron Fleury.
No.
No. I get it. I watched the game last night. I think they played. Who'd they play? Boston, maybe? No, Minnesota played Boston. Anyway,
they did play Boston.
They played Boston 2 nights ago.
Fleury had like 46 saves.
Yeah, he was great. He was absolutely great. And it's like,
and if someone gets him, they're gonna get a very
Pittsburgh might go back to Pitt.
He could. But I'll say this. Well, maybe Vegas now. Robin Leonard is out probably for the rest of the year.
Can you imagine he goes back to Vegas? So what do you think the Leafs would have to give up for a Giordano, 38-year-old, last year of his contract?
I don't think, because Ben Schrott just got a first rounder, a prospect, and a fourth. But Seattle has to realize that you're talking about a guy with limited service left on a contract, and he is 38. So does the ask start at a first rounder? Maybe, but I think
they're not giving them one.
I think
no one will
do. Someone might, but I think the Leafs, if he wants to go to Toronto,
he does. He does have a no move clause. Yeah, they say that's his number one pick, and he might just say, "If you want to trade me, you got to trade me to Toronto."
Yeah, and I think Toronto could probably get away with a second round pick and a prospect of some kind. Mm-hmm. Seattle could just use anything young to build for the future.
I can see a Dermott going the other way, someone like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? That's what that makes sense happening.
To me. Dermott in a second. We'll see. Yeah, absolutely.
That's even rich for me. But
maybe you toss a fourth in if there's salary retained, which for the Leafs there likely will have to be. I think it's a good fit because no matter what you do goalie wise, even if say the Leafs got Marc-Andre Fleury, they're last in the league in quality shot attempts surrendered from the high danger zone, and they're second last in quality shots allowed. Like the vast improvement that we initially saw under Sheldon Keefe, where their shot suppression numbers really did materially
the first half of the year, this team was good defensively.
They've
really good. Oh, I know that.
Cratered in that. You can't lose to the Buffalo Sabres twice in the span of a
Montreal.
week.
You've lost to a lot of bad teams lately.
What's going on here? Like you can't write me a positive narrative out of that.
Yeah, I agree.
The season overall, they're fifth. They're going to make the playoffs. Very talented team. But you can't paint me a positive picture.
Right.
Lately.
And the teams you're chasing are getting better. Florida getting better. You got to get out of Florida. You got to play one of those teams, most likely, unless Boston, which is only a few points, maybe 4 points behind them as we speak.
I believe they're 4.
They're catching up. So if they get now a wild card spot, now they're probably facing Carolina.
Yeah, and they're playing them tonight as we record this on Thursday.
And they beat them already once, but
they did beat them, yes. But
they seem to rise to the better teams, but they have to be able to do that all the time. And that's what separates the men from the boys.
And you have to do it potentially 4 out of 7 times against
not potentially.
really good
have
teams.
to do it.
Yes.
4 or 7 times. It's not going to be easy. There's no question about it.
It's not going to be easy. There's plenty of other trade chatter around as we head into Monday, the trade deadline day. And yeah, we'll do a bonus episode. I have no problem with that. Break down some of the bigger trades.
Hop on Monday night.
Claude Giroux, obviously the biggest name on the block right now. Jacob Chikrin still could be moved. Apparently his ankle injury is not as severe as they thought. He might just be out a little less than 2 weeks. He'll get moved. Doesn't want to play in front of 5,000 fans next year with assigned seating on college benches. Claude Giroux, there's a lot of rumors about Florida. There's a lot of rumors about Colorado, who saved themselves some space. That'll make producer Adam pretty happy, but it's pretty bizarre. Claude Giroux playing his 1,000th game as a Flyer, and he's probably
it's kind of weird how it's kind of weird how it's all worked out, because Giroux playing his 1,000th game tonight, Giordano playing his 1,000th game the other day, and then on the ceremony night, he's a healthy scratch because they're going to trade him. That's the telling tale in my mind that for sure this guy's getting traded.
He's getting traded. Yeah. It would be such poor asset management on Seattle's part to hold on to a guy like that.
Absolutely. Seattle's not done near a job that Las Vegas did.
They really didn't. And when you think back on some of the guys that they could have had for free back in that draft, I know that there was concerns about this guy in particular at the time, but they could have had Vladimir Tarasenko, who at the time wanted out of St. Louis. He doesn't anymore. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle there, disagreement, but he's happy now. St. Louis rocking.
They could have had Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, they could have.
They could now be trading Marc-Andre Fleury. Can you imagine the difference now, having a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury to dangle in front of teams? That's a first pick for sure.
Yeah, Philip Grubauer is not
right?
Not going to fetch you much right now, and I feel bad.
They could have had. They could have had Carey Price.
They could have had Carey Price, yes, who we all wish well and hope that he's going to come back and be okay. And obviously going through a tough time personally, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting trade deadline day, Clarky. But you know what? Overall, I'm excited for baseball season. I'm excited those cheap losers figured it out, at least to a degree, except in some markets. And the Jays are my saving grace here.
And we haven't even gotten into officiating and Matthew's suspension and the stupid calls and overtime. We haven't got into any.
We got about 5 minutes. Let's do it. I'm going to give you the floor.
This is ridiculous.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. And you know what? Quite frankly, your team benefited from it one night when Ovechkin clearly hooked Zach Hyman.
Oh, he hooked him.
Net. Him, no question, no call. And then I think it was Oshie or someone scored with like 0.3 seconds left. And it's like they can't. So their thinking is, we don't want to affect the game. We're not calling that crap. Well, you know what? It's affecting the game more when you're not calling it, because there's a rule book and you should go by the rule book. And if there's a hook, it's a hook. If there's interference, it's interference. And like, it costs the Leafs a point. There's no question about it. It costs the Leafs a point. It just, and then Matthews cross-checks the guy in the head. Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I knew he was going to get suspended. Even though Edmondson did that last year on Simmons. I think Chara also did
a bad one. Gallagher. Yeah.
Gallagher.
Yeah.
So why didn't those guys get suspended? They didn't get suspended. Why did Matthews get suspended? I mean, I thought he would for sure, but I don't understand it. Like, George Parros just hit his head too hard.
He has to lose his job now. George Parros, enough's enough.
Yeah, I know.
Enough. I've said this for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Why are they not on the phone calling Paul Kariya? Paul Kariya had his career derailed by a vicious Scott Stevenson. You could say that about a few guys, but then subsequent dirty hits afterward, which caused more concussions, and he disappeared for a while. Like you couldn't find this guy. He was out on a surfboard. He's one of the most skilled players ever. Get one of the skilled guys in there who's got a better handle on this stuff to handle suspensions. And what I'll say to you too is this. I want to give everyone a suggestion. Japers Rink on Twitter, they wrote a great piece about how officiating correlates calls for star players in different sports. What they really did was a good breakdown of the NBA and the NHL. And if you think being a star player in the NHL generally correlates to more drawn penalties, you are so wrong. Yeah. And it is embarrassing to me. I've said this for years, even about Ovi and Backstrom on my own team. They have the puck all the time. How are they not drawing more penalties? And for Austin Matthews, as we sit here now, Austin Matthews, I don't know if you've seen this, Clarky. This might make you mad. He is 282nd among all NHL forwards for drawn penalties this year.
I know.
And overall across the league, 352nd.
Do you remember how many times he got cross-checked last year in the playoffs?
Dude,
constant cross-checks right in the ribs. I think it broke his ribs.
I can't believe that a guy that's going to win the Hart and has the puck that much is drawing that few calls.
Yeah.
With LeBron James.
And that was such an obvious one in overtime. Oh, such an obvious call. It was crazy that wasn't called.
And the refs are going, oh, well, I've seen worse ones and he still skated through it. It doesn't matter.
No.
He would have got the puck first if he didn't get held by Chychrun there.
Exactly.
And it's embarrassing to me. We want the star players to shine. That's what everyone tunes in for. Then let them shine and protect them and call penalties.
You know what? I have a contact number for Tim Peel. Let's try to get Tim Peel on the show.
Wow. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
They sewered that guy.
Yeah.
I just can't believe, like, when you watch an NBA game, if someone sneezes on LeBron James, it's a foul. It's a foul.
I know. And I'm not looking for that. All I'm looking for is fairness. That's all I want.
Well,
when he's hooked.
You know what, though?
Right?
I am looking for it because the star players have the puck all the time.
I would love it. Right. All I'm saying is I would just love the calls that should be made. Right. Like Mike Bunting probably leads the league.
I think he's top 10 for forwards for sure.
Yeah. Now a lot of it is he aggravates the other team so much that they take penalties against him. And he does seem to fall a little easy at times.
Yeah, but you know,
but how is Mike Bunting up there and Matthews isn't? It's ridiculous.
It's bizarre, dude. It's absolutely bizarre. They got to have another refereeing summit. And again, I don't know.
I'm just curious on how it's going to be in the playoffs. Like, I'm really curious. Is it going to be like last year?
Yeah.
You think, eh?
Yeah. Why would I think what is something, you know, do you know something I don't that's making you think otherwise?
They have called cross-checking this year, actually by the book, the way they're supposed to, for the most part. Last year, it was ridiculous in the playoffs.
Barely.
Absolutely. That's how Montreal won as much as they did.
No, but Clark, you see, but they do what they always do when they go, oh, we got to crack down on this. They do it a lot for October and November, and then it drifts. And it drifts.
Oh, I know.
It drifts.
Yeah.
And I will say, should Matthews have been suspended in closing? Yes. But I can completely understand why everyone in Leafland is upset, given all the videos that, you know, that's one thing Twitter's great for. Just all the videos showing of like, well, look at this one.
Yeah. Well, the
next guy that gets somebody in the head better get 2. And if he's a repeat offender, he better get 6.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
George, come on. Anyway, it's violent gentleman, you know?
Yeah.
Friggin', I mean, maybe if I buy a t-shirt from him, he'll start calling stuff. I don't know. It's brutal. Sponsor the show, George, and then we'll leave you alone.
My last memory of George Peros, I was at the game in Montreal, him lying on the ice. I think it was Colton Orr. Knocked him out.
Yeah, the ice.
I was at the game.
The ice.
I know, but
that was really scary.
Yeah, he was in a fight with Colton Orr.
Yeah, that was a scary one. You think
it was very scary.
Have more sense.
For sure. It was.
I don't know. All right. Yeah. We'll look forward to NHL trade deadline.
We do. We will.
Yep. Good. It's going to be awesome. Happy St. Paddy's Day to everybody that celebrated it. It's great. Coming up next, Kavitha Davidson and Jessica Luther, the authors of Loving Sports When They Don't Love You Back, are going to join us here on the show on Instigating. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarky and Drury. Ryan Drury still here rocking along with you here. Brought to you as always by CoolBet Canada, our friends at Listowel Squash Courts and Listowel Vision Care and See the Game. I'm very pleased to be joined by 2 very special guests, the co-authors of this fantastic book, Loving Sports When They Don't Love You Back. Kavitha Davidson joins us alongside Jessica Luther. How are you guys?
Good.
We're
Thanks
great.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We really appreciate you guys taking time. I got to tell you, I just finished reading the book for the second time because I wanted to read it front to back again, just to refresh myself on all the great things that are in it. I guess first things first, I mean, the book covers so many, it says right on it, dilemmas of the modern fan, and boy, are there a lot of them. And we're seeing it again right now across the sports world with a number of issues. I guess I'll just start with what inspired the two of you to write the book?
As you can imagine, we get asked this question a lot, and we think we know the answer. Jessica and I have been, friends. The community of women in sports writing is small but very tight and very connected through Twitter. And it was around the time of the Super Bowl several years ago, and especially the 5, 6, however many years ago it was. There were a lot of smaller blogs that would and even like mainstream news outlets that would come out with these like very condescending pieces geared toward women that they couldn't imagine were sports fans. And it was always something like how to survive a Super Bowl party, or like how to talk sports with your boyfriend. And it was always like very rudimentary football terms, and then like a recipe for dip or something, right? And like Jessica is the football fan in her family. She will tell you her husband is not a sports fan. I have always known more about sports than most of the men that I've dated. And it was just very frustrating for us that these outlets could not clearly imagine a woman, a sports fan that looked like us. And so we were just angry one day, and we were like, why don't we write like a snarky rejoinder to this? And it would be, how to talk to your boyfriend about sports when he doesn't know as much as you do, and like, that kind of thing. And so it started out in this like very kind of snarky way. And then Jessica was having coffee with a friend of hers who was a publisher at the University of Texas. And thankfully he, took the idea, and he knew our body of work also, which is not snarky or lighthearted in the least. So I think knowing the kind of writers we are, he like massaged it into this much more serious endeavor. And that kind of produced what we have before us.
It's such a great book. I mean, like I just said, I've read it twice. And I mean, being the sports fanatic that I am with all this stuff around me, I've read a lot of sports books in my life. I don't think I've read one that grabbed my attention as much as this, because there's lots of sports books out there, biographies. It's interesting to read about all these sports heroes that we all love. But this book really delves into larger social issues that are attached to the thing we all love, which is sports. And Jessica, I know you touched on this in the book. Obviously, there's a number of social issues going on in sports right now. And I know one that was particularly of interest to me was you kind of reconciling with being a Florida fan, obviously, with the Seminoles moniker and everything that's going on with Washington's football team, now the Commanders, for some reason, changing their name, which they should have changed their name. Florida State, the Chicago Blackhawks, of course, still part of that conversation. I mean, it's a dicey situation to kind of dance around, right? And this book touches on so many different aspects of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that chapter about racist mascots, that's my own personal journey in that chapter of like what I learned and how I came to terms with, or didn't come to terms with, Florida State's mascot, and instead have sort of purged my house of all the images. And, but yeah, I think part of the reason that the book hits for people is that it connects a lot of these issues that maybe people don't normally connect together, that might make them feel a little weird or a little bad when they're watching sports, but they don't quite know what to do about it or what to think about it, or if anyone else is concerned about it. And we tried to thread all those things together. And yeah, I think you could say Kavitha and I we just dove right in. Like we didn't really hold back when we decided to tackle, pun intended, each of these issues in the book. And I think the book is certainly better for it. It helps that we had only so many words in each chapter. I mean, there are books written on each of the things that we touch in this book. So you really, we had to get to the heart of it.
I think that that's one of the most impressive things about the book to me. I mean, the book, you can see it here for our viewers. I mean, it's not an incredibly thick book. I mean, I reread it in a day, but I think that that's one of the most impressive things about it for me is the two of you were able to take so many of these issues and confine them and be very concise about this side of the coin and this side of the coin. And one of the things that really, really interested me about the book, and it's pertinent because it just ended, was the issue around what the Olympics is and what it may look like in the future. I mean, it's BS, really. I mean, this is one of the greatest con jobs in modern history. It's incredible what the IOC is pulling off on these cities. And, you know, we see it with the World Cup as well. That one might be even worse, which you also reference in the book. I guess, Kavitha, just tell us a bit about what specifically about that issue drew you guys into including that in the book, because we just saw another Winter Olympics. And I mean, you know, it can really devastate local cities after it leaves.
Yeah, it really does. I have a particularly personal connection to that aspect of it. I was an urban studies major, and I've written a lot about stadium subsidies and how these kind of mega projects really negatively impact local municipalities, and I've seen it firsthand as well. But I think for Jessica and I, this chapter was also very personal because we genuinely love the Olympics. Like what the IOC is doing absolutely works on us. Like and there's part of that is, I'm a former figure skater, so I just have a love of winter sports. Jessica will always say the Olympics are one of the only, if not the only, major showcase for women athletes, and thankfully that is changing, but that hasn't been the case for decades. And I think one of the through lines in one of the things that we really wanted to get through in this book was that we genuinely really love sports, and that's why we wrote this book, because we want them to be better, and we write that in our introduction, in our dedication. So the Olympics chapter was interesting for us because that's like a really highlighted example of something that both of us genuinely love, but recognize how terrible they are for the athletes, for some of the countries, definitely for, the people in the host cities. I mean, Japan, when Tokyo was happening, no Japanese person wanted the Olympics there. And then the ways that they're used as political propaganda, and this is something that I think we've been seeing in the last couple of months, we're absolutely seeing right now in how sports are used as political football, and the Olympics are no different from that. And so that was a really difficult chapter, but a necessary chapter to write.
I completely agree. I mean, maybe speak to the guy over my shoulder here about how he feels about politics. And I mean, it's funny that I have you on now with all that going on with that gentleman over my shoulder, Mr. Alex Ovechkin, because it's put me in a bit of a moral dilemma as a fan. He's my favorite athlete of all time. And I mean, look at what's going on. And you touched on as well, the Olympics, that's the other side of the coin, right? Is that for large part, it really is the major stage for female athletes in so many different sports. And Jessica, I wonder, your feelings on that. Last year we saw that stupid video that it was embarrassing. The NCAA should be embarrassed of themselves on most days. But the video I'm referencing, the female basketball players, the gym that they constructed for them, what an abysmal showing by the NCAA. And we see this at every level in every sport for women. They're left behind. And I really think, being Canadian, maybe I'm biased here, I really think the hockey players are starting to really push back against that, along with the female soccer team in the United States with Megan Rapinoe and people like that. Your opinion on that, because you two both said it. You guys love sports. You know more about sports than I do. I mean, it's incredible that there's still this perception among some fans that women don't like sports. It's BS. It's not true. What's your thoughts on that, and just how women are still being treated even though they're elite athletes?
Yeah, it makes me mad a lot of the time. I have tickets to go to the first round of the March Madness, the women's March Madness that we're now allowed to call March Madness. Tomorrow, I live in Austin and the Longhorns are hosting. I love it. I'm so excited about it. And last year was just, I don't know how to feel in those moments, because I was thrilled. Sedona Prince from Oregon was the player who had the video that went viral. Thrilled to see how many people were so upset. They were so upset the NCAA they released 2 reports that they did showing all the ways that they have on purpose, like harmed the women's game. Like they had to admit they left money on the table. Like they just don't even care enough about it to make money off of it. But anyone who knows anything about the NCAA is not surprised. I mean, this is the 50th anniversary of Title IX. We're about to hit it on June 23rd, 1972. So we're almost there. And the NCAA tried to sue multiple times in the 70s to get rid of Title IX. And when they failed, they just ate up women's sports. And then once they had controlled it, they ignored it for decades, 40 years. And so, I mean, you could tell I'm mad about it. I am excited, though. I will say we are in a great moment for women's sports overall. Like if we're talking about overall trajectory, where we are with professional women's sports, more coverage than ever, NWSL here in the States. But like, you know, it's a little heartbreaking as a U.S. women's national fan, but like Canada winning in the Olympics, like that's a big deal that we're seeing parity across the game internationally. I mean, I just love the WNBA. I can't say enough about how much I love the WNBA. And we're just seeing the media coverage of that building over time, and it's getting better and more robust. And it does feel like when people see women's sports for real, when they take it as a serious product, they tend to love it. And it just takes getting over all those kind of sexist barriers that just exist to get us to that point. So in general, I feel hopeful, but I definitely feel mad when I think about it.
As you should. And I mean, you referenced the Canadian women's soccer team. I mean, Christine Sinclair is a household name up here now, as she should be. She's the all-time leading international goal scorer in the sport, not just for women in the sport. It is not Ronaldo, which is important. I mean, you know, it's important for people. You know, my girlfriend's a huge sports fan. We watch sports every night. She loves the Broncos for some reason. I mean, congrats for Russ. But Haley Wickenheiser's, you know, her idol, right? And, you know, we need to amplify people like that more and more. And I really hope that eventually in a couple months, we're going to hear that there's an actual uniform women's pro hockey league, because we need that. I want to watch Hillary Knight. I want to watch Laskinainen. I want to watch all of the great women that we have up here. Marie-Philippe Poulin needs to be getting paid to play hockey. Come on.
What was it where for the NHL All-Star when the woman competed? I can't remember her name.
Oh, yeah. Kendall Coyne Schofield.
Yes. And everyone was like, oh my God, she's really good. And it was like, yes, women are really good.
She was faster. She was faster than every male that competed in the fastest skater competition, but 2 of them.
Yeah. And you don't have to tell a women's hockey fan that. They would know already, right? It's just like getting people to understand. Yeah.
They need to be amplified more, and I really, really hope we get a unified league. That's what they deserve, and that's what they need. Kavitha, I wonder as well, just from your perspective, one thing that I wanted to reference with you, I kind of teased it with you on Twitter. Obviously, you're a big Yankees fan. I got my Blue Jay garb on, but I love the Blue Jays. I mean, I'm Canadian. Canada loves the Blue Jays. But I want to dig into this with you. You referenced it earlier with like stadium subsidies. I also really like the Oakland A's, and I don't really know why I put myself through that, because I'm sure both of you know they have potentially the worst owner in pro sports right now. John Fisher just will not. Let's trade everybody. It's disgusting to be an Oakland A's fan right now, especially on a day like St. Paddy's Day when we want to wear green. Come on. Everybody's gone. Matt Chapman's gone. Matt Olson's gone. And you'll know, obviously, that they're trying to get a stadium built at the Howard Terminal. And the city, if it gets approved, the residents of Oakland are probably going to have to foot the bill for that. We just heard that announcement about the Bills' new stadium. It's insane what they're going to live. It's insane what they're doing. And then you see, you know, owners that threaten to leave and do, like St. Louis. Stan Kroenke is a criminal. San Diego just went through it. What's your opinion on this? I mean, I think it's so abysmal that we just continue to see prices to be a fan rise, and then these billionaires want us to build a stadium for them.
Well, I have to say, it is so encouraging to me that that's where you're placing the blame, because throughout this lockout, we've seen so many fans blame player contracts on the fact that ticket prices are higher. And every analysis can refute that. If you actually look at the teams whose ticket prices went up, their payrolls went down. So like that's all crap, frankly. But this threat to leave that Stan Kroenke and that they actually did make good on had been a threat for 20 years until that point. And that threat, the LA threat, was specifically used by the NFL and other teams to hold cities hostage into giving them money. And to, the mayor of Oakland has really stood fast on not giving the A's money up until maybe now. We'll see how this goes through. But I think that a lot of credit has to be due when a politician actually does stand up to a team. There is absolutely no reason that a city should be on the hook for paying for a new stadium. Every single team in MLB, the NBA, at the NFL, and probably the NHL as well, has an owner who can afford to subsidize, to pay for their own stadium. That is just a fact. And I think these teams and these leagues have done a really good job of selling the idea of small market versus big market, which absolutely does exist. I'm not going to lie and sit here and say that as a Yankee fan, my team does not have an advantage because of being in the biggest media market in the country. Absolutely, that's the fact. The fact also is that the owner of my team is worth maybe $1 billion more than the owner of the A's, who's already worth $2.5 billion. So, I mean, we're talking about stupid amounts of money. And I think that fans, thankfully, right now are starting to wake up to the fact that this isn't this shouldn't be a competition among small market and big market teams. This is a competition, or this is a fight, as it were, between fans and their owners, and between players and their owners, right? And when we start to realize that, when we start to realize that the executive and the management class in charge of sports really has been taking us for a ride, that's when you're going to start to see this kind of outrage and this kind of change. But kind of until then, we're stuck here, and I don't actually have a lot of hope for that part of it to get better, because politicians have always been able to gain political capital from getting in bed with sports teams. This will always be the case. We have politicians not only running sports teams. George Bush owned the Rangers, but we also have, John Elway is very actively involved in the Republican Party. He sent on Broncos letterhead a letter supporting Neil Gorsuch for the Supreme Court. So this is always going to be a marriage that I don't think we can separate. But I do think that if fans start to really understand where the outrage should lie, it can help change things a little bit.
I would like to think so as well. And I guess one small glimmer of hope that I always have is, I don't know that it'll ever take effect here, but just the way that German soccer runs their league, it's a law over there that fans have to own 51% of the club. They put a cap on away games. You cannot charge more than, I believe it's 28 euros to away fans. The setup over there is way more friendly. And when the soccer, giants tried to make that stupid super league, the fans, Chelsea, Barcelona, they flooded the streets. Fans can stand up and enact change. And on that note too, and Jessica, I'll direct this your way, because I know you're a big NCAA fan across many sports. One of the chapters in here, and it was an issue for a very long time, the whole issue around paying players, or in the very least, letting them earn money off their image and likeness, which they're sort of allowing. It's not really as fair as they're making it sound. That whole issue has been a raging debate for a long, long time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's bad. I'm totally pro players getting paid. It doesn't make any sense. These schools have to spend the money that they make, and that's why we see that they are building these water parks basically for the men's teams, and that they're paying head coaches astronomical amounts of money at this point. These are educational institutions. You just asked me all the things that make me mad. I guess that's what this book is for. And so I'm happy about NIL. Like, I think that was an important and necessary first step. It's kind of wild that that was not allowed to begin with when you really think about what it is. So I was, of course, happy to see that, but I don't think that that should take the wind out of the sails of people pushing for these players to get paid. Like, they're doing a job, a service for this university. Lots of students get paid for the work towards these educational institutions. And it is just wild that you have strength and conditioning coaches making over $1 million a year now. And these players who are, I mean, here in the US, we don't have subsidized, or we don't have any kind of health care that's promised to you. And the fact that, especially when we think about football players bashing their bodies and brains for these institutions that are not going to be paying for their health care for the rest of their lives, the sacrifice is very real. The fact that they are not even paid, like, it's really wild to me that that is still a thing in place and that it's still so justified. So yeah, I mean, I love NIL, good, but that shouldn't be the end.
It definitely shouldn't. As my dad used to say, it's definitely a bass-ackward system. I want to ask you both, before I ask you a more fun sports question, because we do enjoy sports. They are fun.
They really are.
They are
Love fun. I want to ask both of you, is there an issue that you wanted to cover that didn't make the book?
There were a couple. So the first chapter we wrote actually didn't get into the book, but it was published as a standalone piece on Shondaland. That was obviously very personally driven by both of us, and it was literally how to date someone who doesn't like sports, and or be married to them. And we interviewed men who are married to women who don't like sports, women who are married to men, gay couples. So like we went across the spectrum, and it really just came down to have more than one TV in the house and compromise. Other than that, I mean, I remember there were two specifically that I remember that we didn't get to write. And so many of the chapters that we did write seems like they changed really quickly upon publication. Like our book went to print in March of 2020.
Literally days after Rudy Gobert got COVID.
Like days after all of sports shut down. We couldn't change a thing in there. We added very quickly a paragraph about how this wasn't written in COVID, and we hope things hold up. And for the most part, things have. Washington changed their team name. The NCAA instituted nil rights, and MLB went through a lockout. So there are some things that definitely were affected. I remember we did want to do a chapter on Confederate flags at NASCAR races. That would have been really interesting to dive into. And then all the stuff with Bubba Watson, and there's been a lot of conversation and a lot of ways that NASCAR has evolved in that. And then the other chapter, which our publisher actually talked us out of writing, and I'm thankful to him because I think it just would have been more messy than anything good, was about Trump-owned golf courses.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You could have just wrote a book about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
But also thinking about a September of 2020 publishing date for a chapter about Trump-owned golf courses might have been more trouble than it was worth.
I will say, like, one thing that I wish we could have covered in the book that we did not are disabled athletes. Like, I just wish that we had spent a little bit of time talking to them about, access issues. There's all kinds of issues, and it was particularly potent during COVID, and talking about the Paralympics. And I think there are lots of really interesting things to be said and to be put the spotlight on for disabled athletes. And so that's like, I feel like that's my big hole for me in the book. But there'll be not our book. We're not writing another book, but there'll be a book.
Oh my God, people keep asking us when's the second one coming out. We were like,
right.
We were like, that was 5 years of our lives.
just enjoy this, everybody. Come on. No, I agree. Yeah, and the Paralympics, obviously, they need a lot more spotlight. There's a kid that lives down the road from me in a small little town called Moncton. His name's Corbin Smith, and he's on the Paralympic ice hockey team here in Canada, and he's a local hero here. And I mean, of course,
well, you guys have Brian McKeever.
Yes, we
who
do have
is
Brian
like the
McKeever.
greatest. Yeah.
Yes, he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
McKeeves is the man. And of course, we're going to put this guy on the $5 bill. I mean, Terry Fox is, well, he's Terry Fox. What else do you need to really say about that incredible gentleman? Guys, I really appreciate you doing this. I want to throw, like I said, a fun sports question at you. So for both of you, knowing what I know about the two of you from the book, and of course, following you on Twitter, I'll start with you, Jess. So I know that you're a big Florida State fan, okay, and you've had to reconcile with that a little bit. But I'm gonna pose a question to you because they've had some up and down years. Would you take this or this? Florida State will win the national title this year, but then they'll miss the playoffs for 5. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah. Yes.
You would take that? What if I
Yes.
made it 10 years?
That one's harder.
I didn't
But
come
I
with
mean-
enough heat initially.
When was when was Winston? So they won in 2013, 2014 season.
Yep.
And that was 8 years ago. And that feels like a long time ago. So 10 is a long time when I think about it.
But
But the
10
national
is-
title is real nice.
The national title is pretty nice. It's
Real
not
nice.
a bad thing.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I think I would still take the title. I think I would want the title.
I think I would too. Hey, you can both tell I'm a Caps fan, and I'm happy. I don't care if they ever win again. They finally got
right?
one. Thank God. And Kavitha, now it's my turn to come at you a little bit here. I know you're a big Yankees fan. That doesn't play well up here. I want to ask you
Does it
because
help that I grew up literally like across like 2 subway stops away from Yankee Stadium? There was no way I wasn't going to be a Yankee.
I can't blame you. I can't blame you. And I'm in the Jays' backyard here. I want to ask you, the Jays, they've been doing some things, adding to the rotation. Matt Chapman is here. And the Yankees, I mean, Rizzo's back. Josh Donaldson is a Yankee. He's going to have to develop a bromance with Garrett Cole.
Somehow they're going to get along somehow, right? $600 million between them should help, but
Money solves all ills, apparently, doesn't it? I wanna ask you, Yankees over under 90.5 wins.
I'm going to say over, but I don't think that's enough for the division. I don't think that'll be enough for even a guaranteed wild card spot, frankly. I think that, we saw how this division played out last season. The Red Sox way overperformed, and I think they're better this year. We have no idea who our starters are. It's you have the reigning Cy Young winner on your team. Like there's a lot going on here. I think it's gonna. I think I would go over 90.5, but I think that y'all will be over that as well. Obviously, the Rays just never die. Like it's a thing. There was a rumor today also that the Orioles are looking to throw $300 million at Carlos Correa, which is completely unfounded, but also would be hilarious. So I would go over on that, but that's a very skeptical. I don't think that means very much, frankly. So it's going to be a rough time in the Bronx this season.
It's hard to say, right? I mean, you never know. Their rotation could be okay. You don't believe in magical Nestor Cortez down there with his wonky timing?
I think what you saw with the lack of signing Freddie Freeman and what the Yankees did in the last couple of days, I think they're looking to win a lot of games 11-10, frankly. This seems to be what they're going for. And it reminds me of the 2005 to 2007 Yankees, which were not a very fun time, but we all still filled the stadium and the team still made money. So that's I guess what they care about right now.
Yeah, Papa George will be plenty happy with the dollars rolling in. Guys, I really appreciate you doing this. Again, I love the book. I've read it twice. I might have to read it again. Loving sports when they don't love you back. Kavitha A. Davidson and Jessica Luther. I really, really appreciate you guys doing this. It was great to have you on. And even though you're not keen on it right now, I'm looking forward to another book.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's it for Instigating this week. We really appreciate you listening and watching. Remember, you can watch us Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 on Whiteman TV. We debut on YouTube Friday nights at 9. You can find us on all the best podcast apps on your phones. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. For Clarky, I'm Ryan Drury. We'll be back next week with more Instigating.